What's up, friends? I'm Jack. This is Daisy. And welcome to another Hades video. So we already know that Toula can indeed take on the entire underworld pantheon of monsters in the Hades 2 universe, as well as Kronos himself. But can she take on the surface? I mean, yeah, of course, the surface is a lot easier than the underworld, so this will be a breeze, right? Well, yes and no. When I did the Toula only underworld run, I had access to the aspect of Momus, which was constant healing whenever I wanted. That's not a thing anymore. So, in the background, you guys are going to see my first attempt at this run. If you rewinded a little bit, you would see the arcane cards, or whatever they're called, that I chose, as well as the aspect of Melinoe on the axe to give us a little bit of extra health. And I'm just going to let my first attempt right here play out. You guys can see the challenges I faced, and I'm going to put some cool music behind it. And then go ahead and skip to the timestamp on screen when you want to see the real run with actual commentary. But yeah, enjoy the first run if you want to stick around for that. I'm back, and I lost at Eris. Yeah, that was rough. If you skipped ahead, that's fine. It took me 67 minutes to get all the way to Eris, and then lose basically without taking any of her health down, so fun. And yes, in the background gameplay, I am using my axe, and there's a very, very good reason for this. I need Hestia and Apollo's duo boon. straight up, I need Phoenix skin. It's on the screen right now. This run is going to be infinitely more possible with this boon. So if I don't get a good roll of Hestia and Apollo, there is no reason to continue the run. So like right here, I did not get either Hestia or Apollo boons, and even when I changed them, Hestia is not amongst the god choices there, which means it's time to give up and reset. And I did this about 15 to 20 times. The first few times I did just use Toula to complete the first 2 rooms, but after, you know, the 4th and 5th attempt, where it took me like 5 minutes just to get through the first 2 rooms, I decided to say F this, and I'm just gonna use my axe to clear the first 2. And 100% failed run right there. Like, there's no arguing against that. But the rest of the run is with Toula only from this point on, because I did get a good roll here. I had a bunch of Hestia boons, I had a bunch of Apollo boons. This is entirely possible for me to get the Hestia Apollo duo boon, so we're going to keep this run going. And again, if you want to count this as a failed run, 100%, I completely understand. It just saved me probably an hour and a half of resetting by using the axe, so that's why I did it personally. But in order to get the Hestia and Apollo boons, duo boons, we need to get specific boons from Hestia and Apollo. Right there we got Lucid Gain, which we did need for that, so that's wonderful. As for the rules of this run, it's the same thing as the other Toula only run. The only thing I'm changing is I am allowed to damage constructs, such as that soul dice thing. I don't know what to call it. So Toula won't lock onto that. She won't attack that unless other enemies are nearby it. So in order to progress the run at all, I would need to actually damage it myself. Traps, of course, are allowed, as well as any wandering spirits found in any room. And another construct I'm counting is the Chronos time flag thing. Just, it'll pop up in 1 or 2 rooms. You guys will see. Toula can't target those either, so I'm allowing myself to take those out, like right here. As for the boon we just got from Hestia, we did need that one. Essentially it gave us some extra health and mana, and we sacrificed a Hephaestus boon for it, but we did need that in order to get the duo boon, so that's great. That actually means we have all 3 boons that we need for the duo boon, so things are looking good. Things look significantly worse though when these tombstone enemies come up, because they can spawn an infinite amount of... I don't know what those guys are. I don't know the names of any of the enemies, but I'm gonna call them ghouls because they look like ghouls. So the tombstones can spawn an infinite amount of ghouls, which is really annoying because Toula will target the ghouls most of the time. So what I ended up doing was leading the ghouls to a corner away from the tombstone, allowing Toula to destroy the tombstone, therefore stopping it from spawning any more enemies in. And this was far from the only room that had a tombstone in it. This is just how I learned to deal with them. But yeah, those were a time killer. Yeah, the most annoying enemy on this run by far are the tombstones, and well, that's only in the first area, so that's not too bad. And just like that, we got the duo boon. So if you didn't read it when it was on screen, what it does is take away 100 of our max health, but in return, whenever we're, I guess out of combat would be a good way to put it, we restore health constantly. And out of combat just means not dealing or taking damage, which is actually going to be most of the run for us because we don't deal any damage. Toula deals all the damage for us. And we got one of these side rooms, as well as one of the Hermes altar thingies. And we just buy a mystery boon and some extra health that will pop up in a couple rounds. Honestly though, with this Hestia Apollo duo boon, our build is basically complete. We have everything we need to hopefully complete this run. Oh right, I didn't go over the last rule, and arguably the most important. Of course Toula can only do damage, and since we did get the Hestia Apollo duo boon, if we die, if we use 1 Death Defiance, we're resetting the run. Like, hands down, this boon makes it so easy. Look at this screen. I just restored all of my health just by running around, and yeah, it would be too easy to not have that as an extra rule. Regardless of how easy it is with this duo boon, it still takes a while. It's tedious. Of course, Toula can only do 4 attacks, each attack doing 99 damage before she has to recharge, and depending on the distance from Toula's attack to where she runs, the entire combo takes about 10 to 15 seconds to complete. So let's say 400 damage, I guess 396 damage every 10 to 15 seconds. So that's not great, but it's not terrible. The only real problems are when Toula decides to not focus on the correct enemy, like I said, tombstones. Also, I edited this video to make it look like every time we exit a room, we're entering a new room. Obviously the game isn't actually like that, or this area isn't like that. That's just editing, so just so no one's confused, I wanted to point that out. Now, this is only my second attempt at this run if you don't count all of the resets for good RNG, and I was feeling pretty confident, especially after we got the Hestia boon, and right here we got our Hermes drop, so we just take anything. None of these are really going to help us, so I just go for Nova Strike, why not? And we got some extra health, so up to 73. That's not bad. We can take a few hits now. And again, with the whole if we lose the Death Defiance, the run is over. This run was actually more difficult than I thought it was going to be. I know we constantly restore health, but I was very close to death on a number of occasions, and my heart was really racing by the end. But I should have known better than to doubt Toula. She is an adept warrior. She's already proven herself against Kronos, the Titan of Time. And Toula, being the greatest warrior known to man, will protect us throughout our entire journey to Mountain Olympus. I have no doubt about that now. But it's up to us to guide her. You see, Toula isn't the best with directions. She gets distracted very easily. She'll run off and get lost a little bit, so it's up to us to guide her to Mount Olympus, and she will protect us as we go. Most of the gods in this game believe that Melinoe is the chosen one who will bring them their salvation and free them from Kronos' terror, but little do they know it's actually Toula. Now we run into Charon's shop, and I grab a mystery boon, which turns out to be a Demeter boon, and nothing that can help us, so I just grab a random one. Toula grabs a little bit of a bite before we have to fight our first boss. I grab a bite myself, and it's on to Polyphemus. Now, this Cyclops is a big fan of eating sheep. Luckily though, Toula is not a sheep, she's a shark, so Polyphemus doesn't stand a chance, let's be honest. Now, he does have a lot of health. He is one of those chunky, slow bosses, and I mean, it should be fine. We just need to keep working on him, dealing damage whenever we can, and I don't suspect we'll have a huge problem with him. These sheep do show up, and they're really helpful because they're poisonous to him, so whenever he eats them, he loses some damage. That was great. Though what I didn't realize when I started this boss fight was that Polyphemus, well, in his second phase, he likes to summon a lot of enemies. I mean, a lot of enemies. And we all know how well Toula targets the correct enemy. Now, what's really nice is that Toula got a little bit of a buff before I did this challenge. In the most recent update on June 4th? 7th? I don't know. I think it was June 7th. 6th? 5th? It was the 5th. Anyway, in the most recent patch, Toula got a little bit of a buff, and that buff just makes her a little bit more consistent. So she won't run as far, and yeah, I definitely noticed that. She was ready to attack way more often than in my Toula-only Underworld run. It was great. I will definitely take that. Thank you, Supergiant. I appreciate you. But as you can see in the background gameplay, Toula still has a difficult time targeting the main boss, and she will just randomly attack these ghouls. Again, I don't know their real name. If you know their name, please tell me in the comments so I don't look like an idiot in future videos. I guess I could look it up, but that takes effort. Regardless, Polyphemus keeps summoning these ghouls with every step, and good lord, can you stop? Ah! But regardless of how many enemies he summons, Toula will take out every single one. I mean, come on. Come on. He did eat another poison sheep though, so that was nice. He actually ate a few during his second phase where he summons all the enemies, so that took out a good bit of his health. The other thing that makes this fight more bearable is that when he summons these ghouls, they're summoned right at his location, so there's a good chance Toula will accidentally hit him as well as the enemy she's targeting. Lastly, and I'm surprised nobody pointed this out to me in my previous videos in any of the comments, there's an in-game timer that you can activate via the settings. So that's in the top right hand corner. That shows the in-game playtime for each boss. Though I will say it seems to be slightly inaccurate. I'll try to keep an eye out while I'm editing this, but I remember when I was playing the game in my first run, I was going through some rooms and while I was fighting enemies, the timer just wasn't working. It was just paused. So I don't know how accurate the in-game timer is, but I mean, it seems pretty good. I'll take it. Slowly but surely though, our feisty kitty takes out every single attacker that comes our way. Every single ghoul that Polyphemus summons is dealt with in quick succession. She truly is a shark, not a sheep. And Polyphemus won't ever forget that after she's done with him. Also, Daisy is taking a nap like right in front of me, and it's the cutest thing ever. I'm gonna take a picture of it and put it on screen in a second. Hang on. She's adorable. Love this cat. She's found in an engine, by the way, when she was a baby. Regardless, let's get back to the challenge run. That's what we're doing. Now, Toula did get him into phase 3 and pretty low, and when he's in phase 3 he summons these ghouls with armor, which is kind of annoying. It makes them take twice as many hits before Toula can take them down, and I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. Again, since Polyphemus spawns them at his feet, Daisy will attack him as she's trying to attack the ghouls, so it wasn't the worst thing in the world. And only 13 minutes and 30 seconds. And Polyphemus was right. It is break time.
That one.
So I grabbed Echo's concave stone before I took my break. Paused right here, and of course I'm not going to leave the pause screen up for the entire time. It was like an hour break. But yeah, it was an adventure. I wanted to get some coffee because I knew without caffeine I had no chance of completing the rest of this challenge. But then I went downstairs and realized that my car's battery was completely dead. Like, wouldn't hold the charge dead. Luckily I had an extra battery. I just need to put it in the car, swap it out. So I ran back upstairs and grabbed a couple tools and then ran back downstairs, swapped out the battery, which took like 15 minutes. When I first tried to start it up, nothing happened, so I was a little bit worried. Gave it a couple minutes, started it back up again, worked perfectly. So that was nice. Car works again. Went to get coffee. Didn't see the cute girl that works there, so I couldn't say hi, but that's okay. Got my espresso, went back home, made a latte out of that espresso, and then unpaused and resumed this challenge. Anyway, where are we? Oh, right, the Rift of Thessaly on some ghost ships, and honestly, this location is easier than the first one. We get some extra health, and, well, just because there aren't any tombstone enemies, it just goes by significantly quicker. Again, this Toula only challenge, it's not the most difficult thing in the world. Even if you don't have the constant healing from Hestia, it's not that bad. It just requires a lot of patience and dodging, though again the healing is incredible. I love it so much. I know they're trying to, back out of healing a little bit in this game. That's why they took away Momus and nerfed the healing hex, but they might need to nerf this one too. It makes it hard to lose the game. I'm not advocating for a nerf, by the way. I love powerful things. I'm just saying they might do that in the future. But I mean, they've made an incredible game. 99% of the decisions they've made about the game have been really great for it, so I trust them if they want to nerf it. Whatever they do for future changes, I'm sure it'll work out. Supergiant is great. Anyway, we get death from above here, and that's just Icarus coming in to help us out. And whenever we get an ally that comes to help us, it's great. It makes everything so much quicker. And Echo's Concave Stone does activate there, giving us an extra boon, though neither of them will actually do anything for us. That's a lie. One of them gave us 80 armor, and then when that armor goes away, we're impervious for 8 seconds. But yeah. We also get our Hermes boon from the Hermes altar, forgot what that's called. And we get a boon of Apollo with more healing. Basically, whenever we take damage, we heal 30% of that damage back over the course of 5 seconds. So it just speeds up the healing that we already have, which is great. Really great. Too great, honestly. Oh, I have a question for you guys, by the way, something you might be able to help me out with. I did a dash-only run recently, and basically what that was is Aphrodite's dash boon causes you to do a set amount of damage in a small area whenever you dash, and that was actually tough. That took longer than this run, and I actually ended up losing to Kronos. So I want to redo that run and get a winning one, but I want to know if you guys have any ideas on how to make that more effective and more powerful. Again, I was basically just using the Aphrodite dash boon, so if you guys have any ideas at all on how to make that better, let me know in the comments. That's probably going to be the next video up. Challenge wise, I do have a couple other video ideas I'm working on that aren't challenges for Hades 2, but yeah, as far as challenges, that's probably going to be the next one up. Back to this run though. We have a pretty good amount of health by now, up to 106, so honestly, we're doing pretty good. And it's these rooms where the traps come in handy. If you see that fire trap, leading enemies into it like that makes it go by significantly quicker. Not that Toula can't handle them, just that, well, I don't want to be here all day. You know, it's not my fault if they want to stand in fire. If they want to take themselves out by standing in a pit of fire, that's totally on them. I'm not too worried about it, so if it happens, it happens, and if I happen to lead them into that fire, you know, it happens. Don't worry about it, eh? Unfortunately, we do run into Charybdis here, and this is a mini-boss, and pretty easy one at that. The problem for me, though, is, well, with a normal build, you can kind of just blow through Charybdis without any issues, and just take out all of her weird tentacle things pretty quickly. So I don't actually know her moveset that well, but that's okay. We have self-healing all the time, so not much of an issue, to be honest. And I'll be completely straightforward with you guys. Our problems don't come until we get to the final boss of the overworld Eris. And when the rest of the game eventually does come out and the surface is complete, I will definitely do another Toula only surface run all the way to the end, to the final boss, whatever that may be. Also, do you guys have any idea what that final boss is? I have no idea. I haven't heard anything. I'm gonna guess it's Typhon? Typhus? What's his name? Hang on, I'm gonna look this up. Yeah, I was right the first time. It's Typhon. Typhus is actually a disease, but yeah, Typhon, one of the most powerful and deadliest Greek monsters of all time, who almost single-handedly destroyed the gods. So I'm guessing that's who it is, but I have no idea. That's just who I would think. Oh, I'll be back probably tomorrow to finish up this voiceover. My buddy Corey just got online, and we're gonna play some Black Ops 2 Zombies. Peace. Okay, I'm back. We ended up playing some Transit and some Town. And later tonight we're going to do the Origins Easter egg, which is always fun. Black Ops 2 still slaps. Anyway, Charybdis is just about taken care of. Really wasn't too difficult. Toula did a great job targeting all the tentacle thingies. It only took 8 minutes and 15 seconds. We also got a Hephaestus boon that increased our max health, so overall, not a bad time. And it's rooms like these that make me pause and consider my actions. Like how long this is going to take to deal with until I see the oil slick right here though. Yeah, that will make this a lot quicker. Again, not my fault if they walk into it. No, I suppose it is my fault if I lead them into it. Regardless, it's fine. Toula did that. Toula definitely did that, not me. Right? Whatever, we got some extra health from Hermes, and it's time to make our next decision where we just choose a Palm of Power. Not really going to affect us at all, but I also didn't really need money, so I do appreciate that the fire from the barrel stays on throughout each encounter, because it helps me take out bigger threats like this big Oog man with the anchor right there. Yeah, that would have taken Toula about 2 minutes to deal with, whereas the fire took it out in about 10 seconds, so I will take the time save for sure. It does not affect any flying creatures such as this thingy right here, so that is 100% on Toula to deal with, which she does very handily. And we've got to be almost done with the Rift of Thessaly by now. I feel like we've been on this part for a while. Oh, this encounter's not even done yet. More enemies spawned in. That's fine. Toula will take care of it. No problem. And before long, she does take care of it. Again, we get that Palm of Power, but it doesn't really help us out at all, so we can really choose any of these and be fine. Oh, also, I forgot to mention this earlier. We get a Hestia boon. Doesn't do anything for us. But I tried out so many different ways to buff Toula's damage. I tried out the boon from Circe that buffs your animal familiar. Doesn't increase damage, of course, it just gives us an extra death defiance. With the Arcana card that increases damage, stealth, and casts. Doesn't work for Toula. The Apollo boon that allows backstab hits to deal more damage when enemies are dazed does not affect Toula, even though that's a debuff on an enemy rather than a buff to us. Yeah, every single boon that I've gotten that increases our attack or like anything, any of our power from any of our attacks, like it does not affect Toula whatsoever. Buffs, debuffs, I couldn't find a single thing. Seems like it's a flat 99 damage. If you guys have any ideas on how to buff that, let me know. Regardless, we run into Charon's shop. We just grab a bunch of random things. None of it affects us whatsoever. And it's time for the boss lady. This time we do have regenerating health, so I reckon we will probably do a little bit better than we did before. I kind of like Eris, by the way. I know she's like annoying in the game. She's always getting in her way. But she's a fun character. She is literally Strife incarnate, and I think they did a really good job of representing that. And the voice actor is a lot of fun too. I am a bigger fan of Nemesis though, to be completely honest. But Eris is still pretty solid. But again, this challenge is not an easy win because we still have to survive all of Eris. If we lose one Death Defiance, we're restarting the run. And that would be another 2 hours gone. And she does a lot of damage. Yeah. We just got down to 6 health. That almost killed us right there. Plus, every time we phase transition, she gets double damage for a set amount of time. Which, that's terrifying. That means most of her attacks will deal 20 damage per hit. And she attacks very quickly and frequently. Like you just saw. We got down to 4 health. This was stressful, let me tell you. I am going to skip through this fight a bit though, because it's really boring and repetitive. I was watching the entire fight back when I was editing this and cutting it. It was just like really boring to watch the whole thing. I will keep it though in case anybody wants me to post it. Just let me know in the comments and I will put the entire fight up with some fun music or something. I don't know. But regardless, I'm just going to show you guys the exciting parts. Like when she summons a bunch of enemies out of nowhere. That part's fun. Really fun. Overall though, and I think it was just pure luck, Toula did a great job of targeting Eris. Actually, she just did a great job of targeting the enemies that I wanted her to target in general during this boss fight. Felt like we were really connecting, you know? She could understand me, I could understand her. We were working together as a symbiotic team, and I appreciate that. Daisy was a little bit jealous, but don't tell her, okay? Just keep this between us. Toula's my favorite. Anyway, thankfully when Eris does summon a bunch of enemies, there's a lot of fire trap around, so for the most part we can lead them into the fire and deal with them without too many problems. Though when there are a bunch of flying enemies, that's when it gets more difficult. Especially when their attacks, and you'll see this in a minute, they basically cover my entire screen when combined with Eris's attacks. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm just going to let this part play out because it is absolute glorious chaos, and it's a lot of fun to watch. I'll be back for commentary shortly, probably, maybe.
It's supposed to be a f***ing RPG. What role am I playing? The f***ing victim? Jesus f***ing Christ!
Oh, also speaking of Elden Ring, which was the game in that meme, I'm definitely going to be playing a lot of the DLC when that comes out in a couple weeks. And I'll probably do a couple of runs in that. Of course, I'm still going to do Hades 2 content for the most part, but the Elden Ring runs will be on top of that. If you guys are interested in watching that, I'm just doing it for fun and to make some fun videos, but again, if you're just here for Hades, totally fine with me. You don't have to watch it, but yeah, anyway, if you guys even made it this far, I really appreciate you. Seriously. Anyway, while I was busy trying to survive that absolute chaotic nightmare, Toula has been skillfully and silently taking out all of our enemies one by one, leaving only one. With just Eris left, Toula is ready to finish this fight. And Eris better run and hide, because Toula does not know the meaning of the word mercy. And when there's a god in her sights, she doesn't stop until they're dealt with. She will chase them down and claw them until there's nothing left but dust. See ya, Eris. That entire boss fight only took us 23 minutes and 2 seconds, not bad at all, especially compared to our Toula only underworld run, and this entire run only took us 77 minutes. Not bad. IRL, in real life, it took about an hour and a half. Still not bad. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you want to subscribe, support the channel, appreciate that. If not, your viewership is always enough for me. Thanks for watching.